Week 6, my last week here in Vegas, and I just played day 1 of the main event. After finishing so late at the end of day 2 in the mystery bounty, I decided it would be better to sleep a bit more, so I got there with 15 minutes to go at the end of level 1, and my table was a dream. The whole day, we mainly played like 8 or 9-handed, we played 10-handed for probably about 2 hours of it. There was not one pro on my entire table the entire day. You start with 60,000 chips. I didn't really play any interesting hands until towards the end of the day. I'll get on to the crazy hand in a second. It was just mainly card dead. The hands I did play, I think I played perfectly from my skill area. Like, I don't think I could have played any better, which is all that matters. One hand that I thought was pretty nice, a whale opens, I call with Queen Jack of Hearts, the big blind calls, it comes Queen 6-5, 2 spades in the club, and then Queen Jack of Hearts. They both check, and I decided to check back because my hand is kind of awkward. I've got like a 2 street hand, maybe a 1 street hand, depending on the run out. A lot of turns are going to be pretty disastrous for us, and I think it's actually a pretty nice check when you're free-handed there. I think bet small against like ABC fish is good as well, but decided to check this time. Turn pairs the 6. The big blind leads for 2k into 5.2k. The whale snap calls, and when the whale snap calls, I'm like, yes, the whale has like ace king or a pocket pair or like just something that I'm ahead of. Every now and again, maybe like a weak queen, but probably not. So I decided to raise in this spot, and this is a spot where I would have just auto c-bet the flop a lot in the past, or I would have auto called the turn a lot, and you just let them realize their equity, and you can potentially get bluffed on rivers. And there's just so much value to be had, because if people have like combo draws, like flush draws, or worse Queen X, or they just want to get sticky with a 5 or like a pocket pair, like it's just the dream, you're in position. I don't think people free bet this spot enough, and that's the main counter to this raise, is the big blind starting to throw in loads of free bets, and I just didn't think this player would do it. So I think this raise is actually really, really dreamy. The big blind folds quite quickly, so he was clearly just bluffing. And then the whale tanks, raises and calls. We get the spade river, which obviously would have been an action killer. Check, check, and he has pocket 7s. That raise on the turn was really nice. So I'll get onto the 6th spot. So we had loads of people just dusting heaps of chips all day, so I was playing pretty snug, like low variance ABC. And then I get this hand where middle position raises to 1400 at 600 big blind. The whale calls. He's calling like hands like 5-4 off and all sorts. He's ready to dust it off. He's lost like a 200k pot already, and he sees his like 50k stack as like nothing now. So he's just trying to spin up a stack. He calls, the button calls, and the button hasn't been at the table for that long, but all I've seen him do is the guy that when he opens, he'll show that he had ace king. When he free bets, he'll show he had 10s, and he doesn't seem to be trying to like do a level. He's just a middle-aged guy that's kind of like, no guys, I've got it. Like, don't worry, I'm not trying to bluff you. Like, I'm just playing my hands. He's just one of these guys. I haven't got a big sample, but I just think he's not the type of guy to ever bluff or do something like too crazy. He calls on the button. The big blind is passive and pretty like snug. I call in the small blind with 8-6 suited. I think it's kind of a loose call if you're at a tough table. I think with these players, it's an easy call, and with the whale, it's a super easy print call. I might be wrong there, but that's what my intuition says. The big blind folds. It comes king, queen, 9, all diamonds, so I flop a flush. I'm like, wow, this is sick. Hopefully the whale's got 1 pair, because he's probably gonna go broke. So at this point, the pot is 6.8k. I was considering a lead. I think lead is actually okay there in the small blind, but really deep. I don't mind it. I think maybe I should have led, but I don't have strong feelings about it. I check, the pre-flop raiser checks. And now the whale goes all in relatively quickly for 19,700 into a pot of 6.8k. So immediately when he goes all in, I'm like, yes, he's got like, he doesn't have a flush, does he, when he jams that big? He's either got 2 pair, a straight, or like a pair and a flush draw, or the bare ace of diamonds, and I'm like, hopefully I win this massive pot, and like the other 2 guys are just folding. And now the button starts tanking. And as soon as the button starts tanking, I'm going, oh no, if this guy just calls the free, like 2.5 to 3 times pot jam here, what on earth do I do with my hand? So I'm thinking, please just fold button, don't give me this spot. Button tanks, asks for a count, and then calls. He just puts in the 1 chip, 25k chip to call. Now it's on me with a 45k stack. What do you do? I have no idea. Like, I'll tell you what my thought process was saying. It was saying, I'm massively ahead of the whale. The button knows this guy's a whale, so what does the button do here with like Jack 10? Does he just think does the button have to call with Jack 10? And I'm like, I'm 100% against Jack 10. But I was like, I guess if he does call Jack 10, he'll fall to the jam. And so what about King Queen? Does he call with King Queen? Probably, because he's going to be ahead of the whale so often, but it's a really high variance spot. So I actually thought King Queen would have thought about it for longer. So I ruled out King Queen, and Jack 10, I wasn't sure, that might think about it for longer, but there's only 3 combos because I don't think he has Jack 10 offsuit pre. Jack 10 of diamonds is a straight flush, and obviously he has ace 2 to ace 7 of diamonds, but ace 6 of diamonds doesn't exist. He has ace 10 and ace jack of diamonds, I think he has, because I don't think he ever free bets them pre. So what does that leave? What am I ahead of? Pocket 9s? Well, do I really want the variance against pocket 9s in this spot? If I know he's got pocket 9s and nut flushes, is that a good get-in? I don't think so. So what else does that leave? Like ace jack offsuit with the ace of diamonds? Maybe, I guess like that might be obligated to call. maybe. But I don't know, like that might even fold sometimes when the jam's so big because we're so deep with the other players. He has like a 65k stack and the pre-flop raiser's got like 55k. But obviously the nut flush blocker does feel a bit more secure. Like if anyone else runs it, you're kind of like, oh, maybe like he's just happy to go with it at that point. But man, I had no idea what to do. I tanked for a good 3 minutes and my head was just going, I have no idea what to do. Like I didn't feel like I was getting closer to the right answer. Given the big mistake I made in the $1 million bounty, I decided to err on the side of caution and think, you know what, like please don't show me 4 or 5 of diamonds or jack 10. Or have a hand that's worse that holds, but I think I have to fold here. It's the main event, and if I go all in here and he calls me and I'm just dead, I would regret it. If I went out in that hand by going all in there, I'd regret it. But if I fold, I could live. I fold, the other guy folds. The whale has king 9 offsuit for just pair 2 pair, and the button has ace queen offsuit with the ace of diamonds, which obviously like you should free bet pretty, but it's so brutal. And then I see the run out, and I would have howled. I would have been up to 120k stack. I would have busted the whale and I would have doubled through the reg because obviously he has to call if I call in. I don't know why I just called him a reg against the rec who was playing tight relatively ABC. So pretty disappointing. It didn't feel as bad to lose that hand as it did to make the mistake in the bounty. It was like a different feeling, but I think the fold is reasonable. I think even in hindsight, even though I see the result, I think it's a reasonable fold. And maybe I'm just a nit, but in the main event, like in a different context, faster structure, different tournament, not the one tournament of the year that you dream of. If re-entry is open, I think I gamble. If it's a different tournament, I think I gamble. In the main event, I think it's a fold. I think it's a good fold. Even looking at the result, I think it is a good fold. You know, let me know in the comments. Maybe that was disastrous. Obviously, the extra chips would have been great, but you know what? I'm in day 2 of the main with 50,200 and I played great. I'm in the zone. This time I'm not nervous. I was really nervous the last 2 times I played it, or at least a little bit where I could feel it in my stomach, but this time I'm just playing poker. I'm ready to win. I'm better than I've ever been at poker. I'm mentally better than I've ever been, and I'm ready to win this tournament, so we'll see what's gonna happen. I think if I'm able to play as good as I played today, I've got a really good chance, and I'm gonna let that hand go. Let me know if you think it was a good fold or not, and I'll be back to update over the next few days. Week 6, day 2. I made day 2 of the main yesterday. I was gonna have a day off today, but really good daily 1K at the Venetian. Shouldn't finish too late, maybe 2 AM if I actually win the thing. So I think it's just too good of a tournament not to play. Gonna max lay reg for this tournament, so it might not be in there for that long anyway, but let's see what happens. Main event day 2 today. I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. I've got 50,000 chips going to 800 big blind, which is 62.5 big blinds. It's a lot of chips, even though it's less than I started with. If my table is half as good as my day 1 table, I've got a really good chance of spinning it up, but I'm not looking ahead. Like last time I was really nervous and excited at the same time. This time I'm thinking it's just a tournament. It doesn't start properly until you get to maybe even day 4. Obviously I'll be excited if I make my first day 3 of the main, but I'm just not looking ahead this time. I'm gonna play as good as I can. The rest is up to the poker gods. Ridiculous level in the main. Went from 50k down to 27 first level to get back to 50k, and then just spin 50 into 250. I just made 2 good hands. I played them super face up. People don't like folding. The whale then goes on a tirade against me when I won a hand. Not even against him, saying I played with this guy for 10 years. He's just got loads of money. He likes playing small cards. He likes to bluff. So he's giving me a great image to the table. I actually don't remember playing with this guy before, but like I'm loving it. He's just saying also, I've never even spoke to him, but he's just telling the whole table that this guy's just got too much money, like don't play against him, he's super lucky. He said I was just some boy he's played with for 10 years. Definitely hasn't, but you know, it's good for the game, right? So I've got a really good table. 2 pros have joined now. It's gonna probably get harder as the day goes through, but make some good hands and I could bag a huge stack. Day 3 of the main today. I have 111 big blinds, furthest I've ever got, deepest I've ever ran, chip leader at my table. Don't recognize the names, but it seems like it's gonna be a tougher table than I've had so far. My bro has also got heaps. He's got even more than me, like 150 big blinds or something ridiculous. So hopefully today goes well. I think we played to the money today.
Take a picture later. It's the most important part for them.
It's day 4 of the main event today. I feel great, and I honestly feel surprisingly calm, considering this could be like sweat of a lifetime. I've just been in the zone. I've not had any expectations the whole way through. I've had probably more than 10 decisions that could have gone either way with, and I think I made the right decision every time. So yeah, I'm just feeling great. I mean, could still be out in an orbit. I've got 82 big blinds to start the day, but I'm ready for whatever the day has to throw at me. I think I'm still going to play really great today, and whatever happens, happens. I started with 660k, I got up to over 1 million, stayed at over 1 million, and I had a pretty bad level. There was 2 semi-interesting hands. This guy went kind of rogue, and I couldn't see any bluffs he could have, even though it seemed like a bluffy line, so I ended up folding. Went down to 500k, and then get it all in, jacks versus ace queen when a 3-bet call off, like 23 big blind jam.
Good luck.
I like raise and don't win with queen jack offsuit, go through the blinds. I have king jack suited with 8 bigs, go all in.
Good luck.
Compared to the other 2 times I busted the main, I didn't feel any negativity. It's so amazing. I don't know what it is, but I'd never got ahead of myself once in this tournament, even when I had heaps of chips, even when I just kept trending upwards, even when the field was great, even though it was my deepest run. I mean, obviously I was feeling good, but I never let myself start thinking about day 5, day 6, final table, etc. And I just had a great time, and I busted, and I felt the same, honestly. Like I already felt good because I've had a deep run, and I'm gonna have a profitable trip now. I think my mental game is now better than ever. Obviously it's a lot easier because I've had 2 decent cashes, but straight after the main, I jumped in the 1979 Hall of Fame bounty, got from 30k up to 60k, and then ended up busting before day 2. But I had the heart to jump straight in another tournament. I didn't feel bad at all. I think I played really good in that tournament as well. I heard my friend Harry Lodge was in like the last 15 of the $7,777 online tournament, one of the hardest tournaments of the whole series. So I went to rail him because he was playing online on his phone at the Venetian because he was playing a live tournament at the same time, and I managed to watch him get his first bracelet and about $400,000, which was pretty absurd. It's nice to see your friends running well as well. I've had a few friends run deep and stuff. It's nice to be running well myself. I haven't won a life-changing amount of money, but it just feels really good to go through all the motions, like making big mistakes, getting sucked out on, and all the stuff that I've gone through in the past, and it just feels different. It feels like I'm just more ready for it than ever, and obviously this game has kind of withered me, but in other ways it has matured me, so I'm just feeling great. I've only got 3 tournaments left of the series now. I've added the 3.2k online because I think it will be decent enough to play. I'm going to play the 777, which gets like 777k for first, and I'm going to play the 2.5k Hold'em today. If I bust twice quickly, I'll play the 1.5k mixed PLO Hold'em, but that's the last 3 or 4 tournaments of the series now. It's going to be profitable, which is amazing. I'm very happy. I don't even know what day it is at this point. Yesterday, I played the 2.5k. I had all recreationals on my table. It was going great. Get out ace king, cuff, fish raises, 2x 1200. I free bet 3.7k on the button. Big blind new player makes it 7.5k, and I'm playing like 29k. Obviously, alarm bells are going off. He's made a really tiny 4-bet out of position, cold 4-bet. So I think he's probably got ace king is discounted now, and he's gonna have like jacks plus, even jacks is discounted. So I don't think I want to go broke here necessarily, but I don't think I can really fold in position. So I call. Becomes ace queen brick. He checks very quickly in a very flashy way, like. And as soon as he did that, my brain went, you never have the best hand now. He either has a set of aces, a set of queens, or ace king. Let's just try and put as little in this pot as possible. Check back. Turn is a brick, start to flush draw. He now bets 11k into like 16 when I'm only playing 21. So I'm like, well, that doesn't feel like top set. It's always ace king or queens, right? So I think there's just too many combos of ace king for me to get away. There's only 3 combos of queens, so I call. River's a brick, he goes all in, I call, and he has queens. If I had ace jack, I'd snap fold the turn there. How sick would it be if once he checks the flop and I'm so sure he's always got it that I just snap fold like ace king face up and just wreck him? But I don't think I'm good enough to hold ace king there with the random spaz outs I've seen. And then second bullet, raise with 7s, call, someone goes all in for 12.5 bigs. I call with 7s, fold, and then the aggressive reg back jams for my like 45. Not ideal. Maybe I should have just jammed myself with 7s, try and like deny this sort of situation. I thought he's capable of jamming like king queen suited, ace jack suited, ace 10 suited, maybe even like 6s or 5s, thinking that I'm just gonna have folds. So I slide forever and call, and he has 9, so I bust. I then decide to max late raise the 777. I was pretty lucky. I bought in after late reg closed. I don't know why they let me. So I got in like 15 minutes after reg closed with 10 big blinds. I ended up all in like 6 times in the first 3 orbits. Won every time I was at risk. Got some bad beats, but I mean, obviously ran good to spin it up.
See how good. King, queen, and 5s. Hey. Oh, that's good. That's great. Just the queen to dog.
Ended up with a decent stack on the bubble. Go back, getting the money within an hour and a half of play. And then I got up to like 700k from 40k. So I got up to 800k. I raised in the cutoff. The average stack is 32 bigs. The button just jams 38 bigs. I call with ace king.
Good luck. Pair the board. Pair the board again. Close. So close.
This was really tilting because obviously his force jam there is pretty suicidal. But he said to me he doesn't like playing with me post flop and he thinks I'm going to outplay him, which I guess is a compliment. But it's just annoying that that he has like a slightly better hand. I have one of the only hands I have to put that many chips in with. I then go back after the break, raise with jacks under the gun off like 16 bigs, big blind defense, new table. It comes 2-3-4 rainbow. I bet 65, like over half pot into 110, so I can set up a turn jam. He calls, the turn pairs the 2, starts flush draw. I jam for like 200k into 240. He calls with queen 3 offsuit on 2-3-4 rainbow turn 2. Obviously thinks I just have too many ace X and flush draws. That was pretty tilting. I mean, obviously I ran really good to cash the tournament. We've been playing over an hour and 20 minutes, but pretty brutal that I could have had a huge stack for day 2. And it goes to 40-minute clock and you're only with like 4.6% of the field, and just win those 2 hands and I'm flying. But obviously can't complain. I'm having a brilliant trip. In those moments when you do get the bad beats, it's like a physical sensation. It is. I think I spoke about this before. It feels like a gut punch of sorts. I think you can just observe the physical difference, start breathing, start just focusing on how it feels physically rather than how it feels mentally, and the voice in your head kind of starts to quiet and you just get back to a normal place pretty quickly. So there's so many people still doing well in the main. It's such like a nice atmosphere in the World Series. There's only 2 tournaments left now, 3.2k online today and 777 again, and then I'm finished. Last 2 chances for the bracelet. It's been a profitable trip either way, so I'm pretty happy. Hopefully one of these last 2 regs goes well. Playing great, running great overall, feeling great. Mental game is better than ever.
A few moments later.
I finished my last day here in Vegas. Today I played the 777. I think I played it 4 times. The first time I squeezed with 10s. I get 3 calls. The pot's like 33k and I've got 40k. It comes 753 rainbow 4-handed. I just rip it. Out of position to 3 players. I just thought, I don't want to check in case they all check. I don't want to bet in case they call and I get a bad turn. I can just get called by worse. I can call by 7-6 suited. I can get called by pocket 8s, pocket 9s, and it was like limp around, squeeze, and I was like, you know what? They got it. Hopefully they'll fold. Someone flop a set. Second bullet, I sit down, first hand. Hijack opens to 3x. I've got 32 big blinds with ace queen. I was like, I guess I'll just go all in. He's open to 3x. That's a really big raise. I don't want a free bet fold. I probably don't want a flat. He's got ace king, so I bust again. I'm playing the 3.2 guy on my phone. It's going great. And then I enter the 777 again. I'm swinging third bullet. It's probably my last one, but you know what? If I have to enter again, I'll max, late reg, whatever. Enter again, and this is the most ridiculous hand I've played of the entire bloody trip. Guy opens under the gun to 3,000, 1,500 big blind. I've just sat down with like my 40k stack. I won the first hand, small pot. I call in the small blind, 7-handed with ace 10, ace of diamonds 10. Big blind calls, so the pot is 10.5k. It comes jack, jack, free, 2 diamonds and a heart. I have 10 of spades, ace of diamonds. Check, check, check. Turn is the 5 of diamonds. I have the nut flush draw. Yes, what a hand. This is amazing. Beautiful hand to bluff. I'm gonna fold out ace queen and ace king. I'm gonna fold out all this nonsense they've got. Loads of equity. Maybe check raise is reasonable, but I think, you know what, they both check. They don't really have anything. I'm gonna bet. I'm probably just gonna win. I've got a really good hand to barrel. I've got all these options. It's great. I bet 4.5 against 10.5. I don't think I need to bet that big. Fold and then under the gun calls. Pot's 19.5k. So I'm thinking, well, he obviously doesn't have a jack. He probably doesn't pick up a flush draw very often. Obviously, I've got the ace of diamonds. It's great. I don't really know what he's got. I mean, first hand he played kind of passively, but I have no info on this guy. He's opened under the gun. Maybe he's got like a pair in his hand. Maybe he's even called the turn with like ace king or ace queen. But probably not, right? Maybe ace king. So I'm thinking I'm probably gonna bluff the river. Choose a good size. The river is a queen. So now, obviously I know my ace 10 is not really ever good. I'm thinking, what's the perfect size to bluff the river? Well, he's got a pocket pair. You know what? No one likes to fold. So if I'm gonna bluff, I think I've got to go for it. I've got 37,000 chips. The pot's 19,500. I'm uncapped. I can have flushes. I can have boats. He probably can't. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna bet the lot because no one likes to fold. Let's put the max pressure on. So I go all in. Well, I put 36.5 in, left myself 1 chip back, 500 chip. And he starts tanking and he's like, oh my God, man, do you have it? And as soon as he starts speaking, I'm like, oh, he's river to queen. He's probably not gonna fold. Annoying, whatever. Tanks for ages. He calls, he turns over, queen of clubs, 4 of hearts. He called me on the turn with queen 4 offsuit, no flush draw. The flop is jack, jack, 5-3 with 2 diamonds, 3 diamonds, sorry. And he called the turn with queen 4 offsuit with no diamond. What? What? What is this man thinking? This man is playing a $777 tournament. He opens under the gun with queen 4 off. He calls the turn with absolutely nothing. And then fair enough, he rivers top pair and he makes a good call. River play, I think, is actually fine. So that was how I bust. Well, I left with 500 and I bust next hand. I actually got it in good. Jack 9 suited against like 10-8 suited. Oh man, what is he doing? What? So that was such a baffling hand. I don't mind being called by the queen on the river. I think it's a tough spot and he's made a good call. Jesus Christ, man. What is going on? So he calls and I bust again. And then I decided, you know what? Yesterday I max late reg this tournament and I only played for an hour and 40 minutes before I got in the money. So I decided to max late reg, where you buy in and then you wait in the late reg queue. And every time the late reg queue gets bigger, you move to the back of the queue. And then when you get your buy-in, you're already more than one level into it. So you're like an hour and 10 minutes away from cashing. And then you walk really slowly to your table. You look down at your hand, you think about it for a good 5 seconds before you fold. And it doesn't feel great, but you know what? Tournaments are ridiculous and this stuff just makes you loads of money. And I'm selling action, so I have to make as much money as I can make. So I'm gonna enter at this point. This is the best strategy, unfortunately, as much as I would rather it wasn't possible. I'd rather we all had shot clocks and this sort of stuff wasn't even allowed. I try not to take the piss too much, and I go all in with King Jack suited, and I run into Ace King offsuit, and I busted for my 8 big blinds. Although it's pretty close to the money, you know, for that max late rate, it's pretty sick. 3.2k online, I got it in top pair versus second pair and a gut shot for a massive, well not massive pot, but like 35 odd big blinds that would have guaranteed me a min cash. And then I got in Ace 6 suited versus Ace 9 off, kind of close to the money to bust. So that's it, I'm finished. I feel good. You know, it was kind of rough after, like I had a great bounty and a great main event. It's kind of rough afterwards. I had some pretty brutal hands, but I'm excited to go home. That is now the end of week 6. That's the end of my trip. I'll quickly run through the totals before I just kind of talk over. So for week 6, the running tally, I played 11 tournaments. The entries were $25,164. I cashed for $30,062, which is a profit of $4,898. There was a slight mistake in week 5. I missed like 2 online tournaments, so I'll put that in the aggregate total as well. Another profitable week, obviously really nice to finish the trip kind of strong. Had a semi-deep run in the main event, and I'll just read out the overall totals now. I played 65 tournaments. I cashed in 13 tournaments, including the bounty, which I didn't get in the money, but I cashed for like profit, so I counted that. I cashed 20% of tournaments I played, 13 out of 65, which is pretty good. There was $90,514 in entries. I cashed for $121,018.50. My profit is $30,504.50. After that mystery bounty run, it's like the run you wait for, right? A nice semi-deep run in the main as well, which is a really amazing experience. Still my favorite tournament in the world. I hope I get to play it every single year. What were the highlights of the trip for me? In the first week, I made double day 2, so that was a flying start. Ended up coming 27th out of like over 1,000 players at the MGM. Got it in good to bust, and then the really deep run in the housewarming ended up busting 95th, losing that 14 million chip pot, which would have been for a decent stack, getting it in Ace King versus King Queen suited. So that was a really nice promising start, making it so deep in a field like that. And obviously I got that really sick slow roll, and I made that terrible fold where I folded the full house. It was pretty eventful first week. It was nice that between week 3 and 4 I got to take some time off with Gloria. I think having an allocated kind of few days off in the middle of the series is actually really nice. I'm glad that I planned for that. I didn't end up feeling withered at all. I don't think I ever felt like I didn't want to play, although I was playing too much. I had a really nice balance this time. 65 tournaments in 6 weeks is like averaging 1.5 tournaments a day or something, and obviously with re-entries, that I think it sounds like a lot, but I had a really good balance this time. There was that pretty nice start in the 1600 bounty where I busted like 5 people or whatever to get 500 bounties, and I had a really good shot of a big stack going into the money that could have been a sick run as well. And then of course week 5, the $1 million bounty, I managed to make day 2 in 1 bullet, which felt amazing because I was ready to do 2 bullets in each flight, 8 bullets. It was pretty sick that very first hand I get a bad beat, top pair versus a top pair and a gut shot, which was for a bounty, so I was like, I already had the immediate feeling of like, nah, I don't really only cover 1 player at the table. I'm probably not going to get any mystery bounties. I'm not going to get the sweat, but oh well, I got the main. I just ran like absolute god. I got aces against kings 3 times that day. Obviously, I got it to like 22 million when the average was like 7 million. I think I played really good for the whole tournament, except for that one hand, my king queen hand, where I think I made a marginal bad play on the turn and it led to a really tough spot on the river. But I was really proud of myself how I dealt with it. I think that's the best I've ever dealt with, making a big mistake. I can feel that was my deepest ever run in Vegas. I can really feel the EV that I had at that point. It was the nicest sweat that I've had in any tournament. The 750k up top, there was loads of recreational players left in the last 40. I think normally it would have really stayed on top of me, and it would have like leaked into how I played the main. It would have definitely made me feel pretty devastated, but by the time the break was over, so within less than 15 minutes, I was just back to playing my A game, or even better in my opinion. That was like a positive spiral of feeling good because of how I dealt with myself making that mistake. It wasn't a massive mistake, but obviously it's just a subjective mistake for myself where I know I can do better. So that was amazing. The feeling of pulling the 25k bounty, probably the highlight of the trip. I was so nervous during that experience because it was like 1 in 45 chance of a million. There was a 500k bounty, there was 250k bounties, 100k bounties. That was like the sweat of dreams. I can't believe I got that experience. I'm really happy about that. I did end up running below EV in bounties in the end because I busted 11 people, but having 11 sweats in that bounty was incredible. It's such an amazing tournament. I really hope they put that on again next year. And by percentage of the field, I made it to the top like less than 0.3% of that field. And now I've had more of these experiences of really deep runs. I feel like I'm playing better, I'm playing more consistent, my mental game's better. I feel like I'm just gonna get better every time I turn up for the series. I'm gonna have more chance of actually making a final table and winning every time. Based on playing, I think my chances were pretty high this series as well. And then of course, to close out the trip, there was the main event. What an experience. It's such a great feeling to run good in the main, or like just spin up a stack in the main, have a lot of chips in the main, to still be there. Played my absolute best. I mean, I had that 6 spot where I folded the flush. That's probably like one of the sickest folds I've ever had to make in my poker career. And in hindsight, I do think it was the right fold in the main. I think the main is probably the only context that we get to fold. And obviously I see that I would have won a big pot, but it didn't faze me. I really thought about it. I think I came to the right conclusion. And I had so many difficult decisions in that tournament. And I think I made them all correctly, genuinely. So I'm really happy with how I played. I'm really happy how I did. After the main, obviously those tournaments didn't go so great, but again, I think I played really good. So yeah, that is the end of my time in Vegas here. Thanks for following along with the vlogs again. Sorry that they were on a slight delay, but it's really difficult to kind of film stuff and play and focus on everything and get stuff edited in the time span. But I hope you've enjoyed the journey. I've enjoyed it. I'll be back for next series, of course. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Let me know what sort of content you want to see in the future. Do you want to see more hand analysis? Do you want to see more live vlogs, more live poker stuff? And just let me know. So yeah, profitable Vegas trip. What a feeling. It took me like 4 or 5 Vegas trips to have this. This is the first one where it feels actually really good. I had some really nice sweats. All right, thanks for watching.